I adore Picard Season 3. I'm actually excited about Thursdays again when this Picard new episode drops. I love it. But there seems to be quite a few silly mistakes in this series, and they're getting a little irritating. But one in particular has got me quite irritated. Welcome to SciTrek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. So in every episode of Star Trek Picard Season 3, there seems to be one slight irritating error. And it seems to be one in every single episode. In the first episode, there was this clue that Beverly Crusher had sent to Picard, a clue that he didn't know about and that only Will Riker knew about. And she told him, don't tell anyone. But he went running immediately to Will. Something that happened while he was incapacitated and while he was Locutus of Borg. It stuck out like a sore thumb. It was a bit of an odd thing. It was an error. A couple of episodes ago, Beverly Crusher talked about the new changelings, how they have internal organs, etc., and that this was evolution. Well, it clearly isn't evolution, because that's not what evolution is. Evolution is a natural progression. This was obviously quite clearly not natural. So why she used that word, I just don't know. There's the whole thing with the Titan A. That's quite annoying. Is it a new ship? Is it an old ship? Is it a refit ship? When you refit a existing starship, what you do is you upgrade the technology. You take a ship that's 20, 30 years old and you put new technology aboard it. What you don't do is completely rebuild the starship so it looks completely different, but leave 20-year-old nacelles on board. It makes no sense. It's very confusing. And to be honest, the writers seem to have got confused because occasionally they call the Titan a new ship and occasionally they call it a refit. And it's just a little bit confusing. But none of these mistakes are really a concern. They're mild irritations at best. However, the last episode, a very exciting double episode that we've been really looking forward to, that Terry Matalas has called the TNG movie we never got to see. There is one big problem brewing, and I can't really let it go. But what is this problem? So apparently on this Frontier Day, the entire Starfleet, all of them, are going to be in one place. All of them. Now, if you're a bit of a Trekkie, you might know where I'm going with this. In the last episode, Geordi has said that he is now sick of telling Federation Command that how bad an idea this is. I mean, just from a strategic military point of view, it's a terrible idea. You have all of your military assets in one place at one time. No military on Earth would do that. It's stupid. Why is LaForge the only one that's actually sticking his hand up and going, that's idiotic? Why isn't Picard going, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard? Instead, he's going, oh, I've got to go to this bloody speech, this stupid Federation. Instead of going, whoa, what the hell is going on here? Now, another thing is, because I do find it a little annoying that they've come up with this Frontier Day. We've already got Federation Day, which is supposedly the day when the Federation was formed, when, like the first treaties were signed. We've always got First Contact Day.
We're at critical velocity!
When the Vulcans first landed on Earth and Zefram Cochrane did his first warp flight. Now we also have this Frontier Day. Now, this is the day, apparently, that Starfleet began. It is the date, Terry Matalas says it's actually the date of the launch of the NX-01 Enterprise, and that's the 5th of April. So they've created a new day for this show, whatever. 250th anniversary, great. But I'm a little bit confused by this because all of the Starfleet's vessels, however idiotic putting them all in one place is, there's also some quite big reasons why it's just not even remotely possible. The main one being, the Federation is huge. Now, Picard himself in 2373 said actually that the Federation is over 8,000 light years across. Now, let's assume that Earth is right in the middle of the Federation, which it isn't, but let's assume it is. and that no vessel is actually operating outside of Federation space. Let's assume those two things. So no vessel in theory is more than 4,000 light years from this event. So how long would it take a starship at maximum warp to do 4,000 light years? Well, we don't actually know that exactly because Star Trek is a little fuzzy when it comes to the math. They change it occasionally, but we do have some in-canon clues. So for one, during the episode where no one has gone before, Data talks about how they are 2.7 million light years away from Federation space, and he says it will take approximately 300 years at maximum warp to get back to Federation. Now, that equates roughly to 9,000 light years a year. So, at maximum warp, which a starship can't actually do for long periods of time, would take 6 months. So you need to have this planned at least 6 months in advance, and you would need to start removing your vessels from the outer parts of the Federation at least 6 months before this event. But at warp 6.3, it's calculated that actually it would take 9 years to cross the Federation. So you're at least 4.5 years away if the best you can do is warp 6.3. Now that is really sort of cruising speed. One of the things that was so impressive about the Intrepid class was that it can actually cruise at warp 9 point or whatever it was, which is actually very unusual. The Enterprise used to fly around at warp 5 or 6 all the time, and we know that they could not do maximum warp for long periods. We know this from their encounters with the Borg. We know this in encounters with Q, that when the Enterprise D, and I know that was an older vessel, but when the Enterprise D was trying to escape anything and they tried to do maximum warp or even break that they couldn't do it for long periods. Now, the other thing you have to remember is that lots of the Federation starships are actually older models. They're not all Sovereign class. They're not all newer vessels. There's a lot of older ships out there, or refit ships like the Titan. So they have older technology. The Titan, for example, has nacelles, warp nacelles, that are 20 years old. So you can assume it probably can't hold maximum warp for any longer than the Enterprise D could. So it's just, so basically what I'm saying is the Federation would not just be defenseless for a couple of weeks, say, while they're doing this Frontier Day. It could be defenseless on the outer edges for anything up to a year. 6 months there, 6 months back. And surely the outer edges of the Federation is kind of where you need your defenses, like on the Romulan border and things like that. So it doesn't, again, make any logical sense that they would be able to do this thing of bringing all the starships back to one point, even if they were stupid enough to want to. So now I know they've done this because there's going to be a big threat. The Changelings and whoever the Changelings boss is planning an attack on Frontier Day, and they're planning, it looks like, to try to take out the entire fleet in one foul swoop. But for that to be a storyline, it really needs to be a storyline that makes sense, because this is science fiction. And they seem to have forgotten that us Trekkies actually do this kind of thing. We actually like doing the math. We actually like thinking about the practicalities of what they're talking about. We don't just go, oh, okay, they've done that. We actually do get slightly irritated when they do stupid things like this. I love the movie First Contact, but it always frustrated me that the Enterprise E was able to get from the neutral zone back to Earth in, seemed like, minutes.
Set a course for Earth.
Aye, sir.
Maximum warp.
2 seconds later.
Sir, there's another starship coming in. It's the Enterprise.
The battle started. The Federation were not doing very well. Captain Picard decides, right, we're going in. And he's there while the battle is still going on. It literally seems to have taken minutes. That was necessary for the storyline, but it always stuck in my throat. I never liked it. It always irritated me. They're going to do it again in Picard Season 3. Now, is this a big problem? Is this something we should really get annoyed about? No. Compared to some of the mistakes in Season 1 and 2 of Picard, this is nothing. This is just, okay, they've changed the rules to fit the storyline, which is necessary. The writers have been a little bit lazy, going to say, and they've just fit a storyline that fits. So what? They do that all the time in Star Trek. As I said, they did it in First Contact. They did it in lots and lots of other Star Treks. They fuzz the numbers occasionally. If Terry Matalas does want to move forward and does want to do another series of Star Trek, I would like him to be a little bit more careful with the detail. I'd like a few little less mistakes. Then us Trekkies have to run around to try to figure out reasons to make it make sense. They shouldn't do these mistakes. The holodeck shouldn't have its own power source while the rest of the ship is about to run out of air. It doesn't make sense. It's not logical. Stop putting these things in there just for the sake of being able to. Let's make Star Trek make sense. The Vulcans would seriously lose their minds at some of the storylines being put in Series 3. Never mind Seasons 1 and 2. But guys, get into the comments. Tell me what you think. Does this make sense, or is this one step too far? Now, I know the Changelings have probably ordered the entire fleet, and this has all been set up over a long period. But let's be honest, not everybody is a Changeling, and surely somebody should have pointed out that this is stupid. Or have I completely forgotten something that is actually really important? Get into the comments and tell me exactly what you're thinking. If you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. It really helps us out. And as always, if you want to support the channel even further, you can go to patreon.com/SciTrek, where you get most of our videos before everybody on YouTube. And for a small contribution each month that really supports the channel, you get it without having to watch the adverts. As always, please stay safe, and I'll see you next time.